Test, test, test. Hey guys, this is Bruce. Welcome to ConvoCourses podcast. I'm starting a little bit early, and me talking today. Gonna keep it light and talk about goals for 2026, as well as anything else anybody wants to bring up. Um, an update on currently what's happening with the job situation. The job market is absolutely frozen and dead right now because of fiscal year. Um, yeah, it's not gonna pick up. I mean, I have gotten a few people in me, so I've got a few like screener type things and friends and some of you guys. I appreciate it. Like some people have reached out to me and said, "Hey, man, we got a position here or whatever." Like if you guys didn't know, like I lost my job. And it gives me no pleasure to say I don't want any sympathy or anything like that. The reason why I start talking about it is because I want to be real with you. I want you to know I'm a real person, not just some dude who's saying, "Oh, buy my books, buy my courses, or whatever." I'm a real person going through real shit. So I want you guys to feel it. And another thing is I know I'm gonna get a job, and I want to show you. I want to take you through the journey how I did it and what I had to go through while I'm looking for one. Because that's important, and I think that's the side of cybersecurity and GRC that we don't get to see a lot of times, like, when you're down, like, when you're out, when you don't have no cash, you don't have a job, nothing. Um, that's, how bad is market? Market's really bad right now. It's really bad. It is I think what's happened now let me put this in perspective. I happen to work in the government sector. So every sector is different. You should know. Every industry and sector is a bit different. So one sector in industry might be hot. Like I think that healthcare is all right, is doing okay, has been doing okay. Healthcare sector and maybe insurance or something like that. I think they might be doing all right. I'm not in those sectors. I can only speak for the industry I'm in, which is government, and government is really bad right now. And I think it attributes to a few different things. Extra bad, yeah. It's I think it's attributed to a few different things. And one of those things is the direction that the executive branch has taken, which is which is indecisive. They're coming off as a bit indecisive, and I've never seen this before. Like this is I've worked under several administrations my entire adult life. Most of my adult life has been in the government sector. I worked through all the way back to Bush, like all the way back to those days. Damn near before Bush twice, Clinton, Obama, Trump twice now. Like I've been through I'm in that sector, so I can really tell you what's going on. I'm a contractor working in the sector. And the indecisiveness, you can clearly see it in some of the stuff that's going on. Like some of the redactions is a good example. Like, they completely botched that, and I could tell you why. The reason why is because they let a lot of people go who knows what they're doing, and another thing is they let a lot of contracts go for even the software that handles that kinda thing. And why? Like, why did they do it? "Oh, we wanna save money." It's like it's a lot of, like, politics. What they're saying, um, what they're putting out, they're putting a positive spin on it, but the reality is what you're seeing, like the results of like not hiring the right people, the results of cutting back, not listening to people who've been in this game for a long time and or letting them go because they don't agree with what direction you're going. You can clearly see it in some of the incompetence that's happening. Like you can see it. I'm not revealing anything. Just watch the news. Like you can clearly see what's happening. like so I mean, I can't even divulge what I actually know. Like I can't like I'm still in this space, so I can't like really go into any details without getting myself blacklisted. But what you see on the news should tell you quite a story. This and that said, like backing up, like just telling you like because the indecisiveness of the direction of of the executive branch, which is where I work, have been working and have the most amount of my experience, has made it so that companies, contracting companies, subcontractors don't know which way to go. So they have to do a hiring freeze and say, "Look, we don't even we might lose our contract next year. We don't know what these guys are gonna do. We don't know what the client's gonna do at all. So let's just hold off and see how what goes on because we just don't know, you know." So that's kind of what's happening with my sector. And then if you look at the news, you see a lot of stuff about Google, all the big guys, Google and Microsoft and Nvidia and all these different companies laying people off and stuff. And, what do I say? I'm not in Fang. I can't really speak to Fang, but I can tell you this. They keep saying, "Oh, it's AI. AI is taking jobs." Like AI is not good enough to take a junior level position yet. So I could tell you what's happening, what I think is happening on the Fang side. Keep in mind, I don't work in that sector, but if you look at it, what they're doing is their investments are going towards the infrastructure to buy the data facilities, the data centers. They're spending they're taking their money and putting it into the data centers, but to do that, they have to loosen up cash, so they're letting people go to put money. This is what I think is happening. They're letting people go to loosen up cash so they can buy those data centers so that they can do more AI. Because I think there is a demand for people using AI. Like, what I mean is, like, people are using whether you're using it to fix something or you for directions or for any number of things that people all of us are using it for. There's so much demand from all over the world, not just the United States, not just your state, not just your city. The whole planet is having demand for wanting more AI. So to do images, to do schematics, to do everything, right? Because the top AI, like, think about it, is in the United States. It's Gemini, OpenAI, and coming up real soon will be Amazon, and Amazon's trying to catch up. So they're trying to get some stuff in place to do AI more. Like, their infrastructure is not like really made to do AI yet. So they're trying to build up their infrastructure. It's like an arms race. And so they're pulling cash out, like letting people go, doing hiring freezes so they can take that cash and put it into the infrastructure that will allow for them to have to supply AI services to not only you and I just messing around on our computers, but to other businesses because it's just gigantic. Let me see. I got a lot of folks jumping in. Thank you guys so much for jumping in with me. And I want to hear from you guys. Like, what is your goal for 2026? Like, I'll read it here on here, and just maybe we can keep ourselves accountable by just saying it out loud. And what was your goals for 2025? Did you accomplish them? How did you do? Somebody asked me how bad the market is. It's bad. It's bad here in the US. Government sector seems extra bad. Yeah. Private feels all right. You use your network accordingly. Yeah. Yep. I would say it is impacted right now. There's a hiring freeze on a lot of different places. I mean, right now the hiring freeze mostly is because of it's the end of the fiscal year, so it'll pick up like 20 mid January. It'll start picking up to start hiring again and stuff. Somebody said, as someone still applying for jobs, I just can imagine how you go through right now. Big oh, thank you. Yeah, it is. It's difficult. Yeah, it's you already know it's pretty bad right now. There's I've never I can honestly say I have not seen it like this before. I personally have not seen it like this before. This is the worst I've ever seen. Worse than COVID, worse than 2008. This is the worst I've ever seen. It's bad. Just just to be honest with you, in this market, I'm not normally I'm getting way more interest, and I'm just not seeing it like I used to. And I'm just being completely honest. I mean, normally I'm trying to find like a way to positively put. I mean, positively speaking, it will pick up, but right now because of what's going on in a fiscal year, it's gonna be like this. How do you deal with stakeholders that do not give importance that do not give the importance of security and adamant on changes? How do you deal with stakeholders that don't know the importance of and adamant on change? Yeah, dealing with difficult customers. So, how do I deal with it? Normally, what I'll do is I see myself as like a reporter when I'm doing cybersecurity as a GRC person. I let the stakeholder know I'm on their side, right? I listen to them. The most important thing you can do as a GRC person is to listen to the client, listen to the customer. Of course, you have requirements that you gotta put in place and stuff, right? You already know that, but you gotta listen to what they're saying to you, and so that's what I do. I listen to what they're saying, and I take on their argument, um, and then what I'll do is explain to them what I think once you take on their grievance, it's easier for you to explain and convince them of why it's important to move the needle. At least that's what I found. When I see their perspective, there isn't always an answer, all right? It might not be to remediate or quote unquote fix or remediate the system right now. It might be that you have to do some or other type of risk response, and that is your job as a GRC person to figure what that out what that is. And they might not take your suggestion, right? And you've got to be open enough to understand they don't have to take they're the one, it's their system. Like ultimately they make the final decision, right? But you're just telling them, listen, okay, here we can't fix it right now. I get it. But what other risk responses do we have? And your organization might have different risk responses, but there's action plans or what the federal government calls plan of action and milestones, where you document what's going on. You have milestones or steps to get from here to there. You have a status of what's going on right now, and you have a point of contact. All that stuff is documented and sent up the chain of command. Right. That's one risk response you can do. And that kind of if you think about it, that touches on the importance of security because we're documenting it and we're giving the justification and we're saying here's what we're going to do in the meantime. So we're listening to the stakeholder, but we're also saying, hey, here's the requirements. We're kind of meeting each other halfway. So that's one risk response. Another one is risk acceptance or exception. They have different names for it. That means that we're not going to fix it. We're not going to fix it. But when you say we, it's the head of agency who has to make that final decision and sign off to accept that risk. That means that the agency, the head of agency, the decision makers, the CIO is saying, "Okay, I know that this is a problem, but we can't fix it right now. So, number one, what can we do? Is there any other what's called compensating controls, meaning something else that will make the system secure, but we couldn't do the actual remediation? Well, we can do this thing over here. We're documenting that we can't fix it and why. Justification of why we can't fix it. And they might have a really good justification, but ultimately you're not the one who takes on that responsibility. Just remember that. That's why I say you're a reporter. You're not necessarily law enforcement. You come in and report the news to the organization and you're on their team, like to let them know, hey, I'm on your team. I'm trying to do what's best for all of us to keep us all gainfully employed. I'm just telling you, here's what came from on high. This is not coming from me. This is coming from our organization. Here's what we need to do. Now, if we can't remediate it, maybe there's some other risk response we can make. Ultimately, this has to find its way to the CIO and they have to make the final decision on it, right? And that's my approach. And I think normally once they understand where you're coming from, what you don't want to do is come in as Judge Dredd. You don't want to come in there busting heads and taking making summary executions on the spot or something. That's not really what we do. We're not judge, jury, and executioner, right? We're more of a reporter. Like we're saying, hey, here's the regulation. Can we fix this? And they might come back and say, no, we already fixed that, but I don't know why you guys as scanners are seeing that. Or it might be, no, that's not really a problem. Let me show you why. Or, hey, we can't fix it right now. All right. We got other things going on. We can't fix it. Plan of action and milestone. Document they here's why they can't fix it. Okay. Why can't you fix it? Document it. Right. And then that doesn't go that go you're reporting. You take that information and send it on its way. Hey guys, I just gotta let you know that I know we can't fix it right now. I'm gonna document it. We're gonna do a plan of action to fix it at a later time. I'm gonna let leadership know that why we can't fix it, right? That's it. That's what I do. All right, let me see. I got some other folks jumping on here. Um, how you doing, man? Larry, how you doing, man? Um, somebody said I was laid off from a GovTech job as a Windows system engineer. My goal is to get into cloud security admin 2026. Amen. Amen. Great. That's awesome. That's awesome. You'll get it, with your skill set. It's frozen right now, but it'll pick up, I'm sure. It'll pick up. And I would say, expand your horizons. Don't just look in GovTech. Don't just look in GovTech. Believe it or not, there's other industries that are really looking for our skill set. So expand your horizon. I'm sure you'll get it. I'm certain you'll get it. 2026, absolutely. One thing that helped me to get into cloud security, like, has gotten me more people contacting me and more opportunities, was to get a cloud cert, like to get a AWS, not even a hard one, like the AWS CCP. I got that. And that immediately got other people contacting me. Now you're in Windows, so you might have to do Azure, the AZ900. Just knowing the fundamentals and getting that on your resume and doing like some projects so you actually understand what's going on that platform, because it's actually pretty simple once you get once you if you have a background in IT. Well, it's just it's all the IT stuff, but it's on a platform. It's on their platform. It's on Microsoft's platform or Oracle's platform, or it's on Amazon's platform, and how they implement security or deploy systems or deploy patches or whatever. So that's one thing that opened it up for me. Like, I was able to actually land. I mean, it was short lived, but I was actually able to land a cloud security position, and I'm still getting contacted by people who need a cloud person. And now that I know how much it's not really that much different from what we already do, so I can confidently get in the interviews and tell them, like, yeah, this is what I can do. I've been doing it for many years, and X, Y, and Z. But I know you'll get it. Security expert, how you doing, man? He says, yes, my government contract ended last week. Unfortunately, I still have contracts with Fang and Big Four and a Big Four professional service company. Oh man, that's awesome. This dude right here is the truth, man. He says, we'll see how long it lasts though, since there's upstream clients are also the feds. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, got some folks jumping on. Appreciate everybody jumping on here. And thanks a lot. Like, I've been getting a lot of folks contacting me about positions open or work that they need, and I really appreciate it. Like, every bit helps, Um, and once I get in there, I'm a super hard worker, and I can set my feelings aside, right? Like, at the end of the day, it's about confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We just want to make sure the systems are safe, because your data and my data are on these systems. So regardless of who you voted for or whatever, we need to protect the data. That's how I feel about it. Let me see. How do you deal with stakeholder carry? Read that one. At least you got a clearance. I do not have a clearance. I have a public trust. I do not have a clearance. But I am eligible for a clearance. That means I'm a US citizen and I can get one of those clearances very quickly. I hope. I hope quickly. I've had one before. So Roman says, the small to medium sized businesses are still hiring, and it's a sweet spot. It's a sweet spot in my opinion. Okay, I'll look into that. Um, yeah, just like upper management still hype on AI, they think that it will replace all. It's not there yet, y'all. Like, I don't know. I don't know why they keep saying that. I just don't see it. Right? Am I wrong? Like, I might be wrong, guys. Please. Like, if you have a different of opinion, I'm all ears, but I'm just looking at it and I just don't see it replacing jobs right now. Like, it's too much, especially for cybersecurity. Not right now. Like, maybe it's dope. Like, AI, don't get me wrong, it's impressive. It is absolutely impressive. Um, it's absolutely impressive. But to replace IT jobs, the reason why I just don't think it's there yet is because of assurance. Right now, you don't have a there's not enough trust on AI systems to just let them run wild on your IT infrastructure. It's just not there yet. And I think that the organizations who jump in there and start using it, right? And we're already seeing this. The organizations who just let it loose, like just put it in place, fire a bunch of people, and then let it loose to do a bunch of HR jobs or something. They're paying the price because it's not there yet, and it's getting hacked because they didn't implement it properly. Did you hear about the one where McDonald's they put out a generative AI that would take in your resume. It would take in your resume, and then it would start you on the application process, right? You put your information in, and it would taking the job of like an HR department. So you put your stuff in, and then it would automatically submit you and do all the stuff, right? That sounds really good. I mean, and eventually, I think that's what's going to happen eventually. But what happens? They didn't deploy it properly, and it got hacked. Somebody poisoned it, and it got hacked. I mean, it's just not there yet. At some point, it's gonna get there. I can see, yeah, at some point it will get there. But and we should be thinking about it right now. We should be thinking about like, okay, what do we do when it does get there? But for people to say, oh, the jobs are gone because of AI, not I think indirectly, I think maybe Fang maybe indirectly because they need the money to put into AI. Like they're doing these centers are hundreds of millions of dollars, so they have to let people go and cut costs so they can put money into that. Maybe that, like, if you're talking about that, but for AI to literally replace roles right now, there's not enough assurance for it to do that. Automation probably, like, if people were saying, "Oh, automation is taking jobs," yeah, okay, that makes sense. I can see that, right? I'm seeing automation being put more and more, and basically we have to because they won't hire anybody, and it's before AI, they weren't hiring anybody. I mean, not enough people, they weren't hiring enough people to do this work. I tell you that. Most of the places I've been to have been very short staffed. Definitely looking to move on from GRC's schedule side of the federal government. Easier said than done. Yeah, stay where you are, man, until further notice. Like I would stay where you are and keep up. Like maybe apply for jobs. This is just what I would do. Maybe apply for jobs, and if you get something really good, like something that you can't say no to, then think about making a move. Or maybe even being overemployed for some time and then making a move when it feels right. Oh, and taking just one of those jobs. Just an idea, but I would stay where you are right now. The market's it's rough. It's rough out here. Continuing to upskill and build on my technical skills while finding ways to leverage my project management. Man, my man smart. That's exactly what you do right there. That's what I would do. Yeah. Continue to upskill and build on your technical skills and find ways to leverage your project management because that's going to bring you the biggest amount of money, biggest bang for your buck. So that's awesome. Okay, let me see. Somebody said Amazon is investing a lot in their Tanium chips data centers. Yeah. Yep. No doubt. I'm just thinking like I think the only organization right now that's set up to do to have an infrastructure where they can they have the infrastructure to service all of the AI request is Google, because Google has been building their own chips for quite some time, but Amazon has to catch up. It seems like that's what they're trying to do, and so they're building a whole bunch of new facilities and stuff. And at some point, they might even start retrofitting, like going back and putting in the data centers they already have, because they have a lot, and putting in some AI racks. Um, they might start doing that. Let me see. On average, where does blue team or red team make their salary wise? So blue team, and we've got a whole bunch of people here who know way more than me about this. So I'm gonna put this question out to everybody. So guys, somebody asked, on average, does a blue team or red team make more salary wise? So first of all, a blue team refers to the people who protect the network, the defense folks, the firewall people, the incident response people, those kind of guys, the SOC analysts, stuff like that. The red team are people who are ethical, quote unquote, ethical hackers. They know how to do penetration testing. They know how to scan outside and inside the network, but that's where their skill set is. I would say, um, Andre, I would say that it really depends on the job itself. It depends on the job. I know that I'm not trying to cop out, but seriously, it depends on the factors are not so much about whether you are a blue team or red team. When you break it all down, it comes to where you're located. The location where you're at. Example would be Omaha, Nebraska is going to pay less than Virginia, DC area. Like if the company is out of those areas, then that typically those guys they just pay higher. Or New York, some parts of California they pay higher than say Utah, you or I don't know if that's a good example, Iowa or something, who have a smaller market. They just don't pay as much. So location is one. How many years of experience that you have is another big factor. Um, certifications and skill set is another thing that's going to be a driving factor. So it's more of those factors that are going to determine which ones pay more. I would say if I was breaking it up, I would break it up by engineers versus analysts. Typically the guys who build make more than the guys who scan, you know. And so blue team has engineers, and your red team have engineers as well. They have a difference between the guys who are usually the engineers or architects who are setting up the environments. Those guys make more money. Though and then the managers, they typically make more. The analysts, the guys who are on the ground doing the actual grunt work, make a little bit less. Usually make a little bit less. It's usually that is really the determining factor. I'm trying to find a way to answer your question. I would say there's less red team jobs. There's less red team jobs. It's harder to get those jobs. On average, if I had to guess, I'd say red team guys make more money, but there's way harder to get into, and they take way more skills. Usually, like the real high level guys have to know programming. Just that's just my 2 cents, based off of what I've seen. But the real factor you want to is the skill set, the job description is another one, location. Those things are bigger factors, I think, to determine what's going on. Anderson Anthony. Do I know you, man? You look familiar. How you doing, man? You look familiar, man. I think we might have met before. Was it in a class or something? Did this guy? I feel like I know this guy. Okay, let me see. R CYSA Plus or CASP, now called Security X, with the Security Plus good for an ISO role. Oh yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, Security Plus really is great for security, for information system security officer work. So, for those who don't know, an ISO is an information system security officer. It's a GRC person who works in the federal government. That's what it is. And, they're asking about whether you should have a Security X, a Security Plus, or a CYSA Plus. So CYSA Plus is really for SOC analysts. It's more for a SOC analyst. You're not really going to use it much in an ISO role, to be honest. Like most jobs, GRC type positions won't really use a CYS. That said, my last two jobs where I was in ISO, we did do a little bit of analyst work, but very little. Um, a CASP, you can't go wrong with the CASP Security X. Like you just can't go wrong. It covers so much ground. It's such a powerful, huge certification that you can't go wrong. Whatever you do, CASP is going to work there. Security Plus is really fine tuned for a job like this. Like it's really good for ISO work. So I'd say of the three, well, CASP obviously would be the best one, but second would be in that list you gave would be Security Plus. My personal opinion. Thanks for joining, guys. I appreciate you. Oh, okay, goals. My Somebody said my 2026 goal is to get out of the help desk. I have a Security Plus, an AZ 900, and a ISC2 CC, GRC, or IAM. That's great. So they're trying to go from help desk to GRC to IAM. Man, that's an awesome goal. That's an awesome goal. Either one will pay better, will typically pay better than a help desk job unless you're like a manager on the help desk, or something like that, because those are more specialized. And from the help desk, like it's you can make that pivot easy to either one of those roles. So 2026, very realistic, achievable goal for sure. To start putting yourself out there. Anybody else got some more goals for 2026? I definitely have been thinking about some of those goals. Somebody said, let me see, more goals. Nope, no more goals. Okay. Okay, got more questions here. Let me see here. David says, how hard is it to pivot from a security clearance to a top secret clearance? It's not hard at all. Um, it's all it is finding a position that requires a TS. So if you're in an area that, give you an example, like where I'm working right now, where I live is by a place that has a lot of bases. And what I could do, let's say I had a security plus or security plus, a secret clearance. If I had a secret clearance and I wanted to get a TS, I'd have to go to a job that required a TS clearance. I would find a job that required a TSSCI, whatever it is, and then as soon as they hired me, they would start putting me in to attain that top secret clearance. So it's as easy as switching jobs, you know. And I can tell you, like, when I had a secret clearance and I was moving around between one secure clearance job to another, like, literally, as soon as I went to a job where that required a TS, I had as soon as I got hired, they start working on how to give me a TS clearance. So it comes down to the contract that you're on has to have a requirement for a secret or top secret clearance. So that's about it. They haven't figured out how to integrate AI the correct way. Yeah, yeah. It's right now, like the stuff we're seeing that's out there, it's kind of experimental, you know. So and it's coming. Like I can see like some real great successes with it here and there. Like I had a couple interviews so far from an AI, um, from an AI from a company that would have have it call you. It wasn't bad. I mean, it's got potential. I don't know how the back end of it is. Like, I don't know when it gathered my information. Does it sort it properly? Does it send like do a report and give me a rating and then send it to the hiring managers or something? That would be kind of cool, you know. So I'm seeing some whenever they have a like where it's just intaking your information and not allowing you to alter stuff. It seems like those are, they're a little bit safer to deploy because you can't go in there and, like, add some prompting, like, I don't know, maybe I could've. Maybe I could've done said something to trigger it to where it would give me different information, but it didn't seem like that, like, it would seem like it was very focused. Anyway, it's getting there, it's just not there yet, I think it will be there within another few years, I'd say probably by 2030. By 2030, I think it's goose is cooked, baby. We're gonna have to come up with another that's only, like, what, 2 years away? I don't know, 3 years away, man. So, yeah, 4 more years and, damn, like, I don't know, man. 2030 is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. The stuff just coming in 2026 is wild. I watch a lot of AI stuff, reading up on it, and, oh my goodness, there's some stuff that's being developed that is amazing. Somebody say, "Hey, bro, please give me and the chat $500,000 cybersecurity jobs." I don't have a job myself, brother. I'm currently looking for a cybersecurity job. Yeah. Let me see. Okay, somebody said, a master's degree in science in is a master's degree in cybercrime and digital investigation good at IT undergrad?" Yeah, so I would focus now that that's great, like, that you're doing the digital investigations, that's great, master's degree. But what you need to focus on as a student is hands-on projects. Like, right now, what you need to do is and I tell every student this, focus on the hands-on projects. You can put the hands-on project stuff on your resume, and there's the tools that you're gonna learn that you're gonna mess with oh, thanks. The tools that you're gonna mess with as a forensics grad are gonna be worth their weight in gold, but you need to put them to practice. Like, you need to be able to list the Silk and, FTK and, Encase or whatever you guys are using. You need to be able to say, not only did you know how to use it, but here, I used it on this project and this project and this project. So that you can hit the ground running and when you do the interview, you'll be able to blow them away because they'll know for sure you know how to use those tools, and you know the not just about tools, but the methodology behind it. You'll have the confidence in your voice when you're talking to them to where they like, "Yeah, okay, this guy knows what they're talking this person, they're walking the walk." Get the experience while you're in school, like, this is a perfect opportunity. I'm not one of those people that's gonna tell you to drop out. I'm not gonna be one of those people tell you degree is worthless. I don't feel like that's true. I feel like for most of us, there's outliers, right? There's definitely outliers who dropped out of college or never went to college, don't have a degree or whatever. There's definitely people like I know who don't have any of that and they just went and they're making 200, 300,000, whatever amount of money, like a crazy amount of money. So that does exist. But what I'm saying for the most part, for most of us, degree is still valid, man. I'm telling you, as an engineer, it's still like we have to compete out here, right? In the real world, we're still competing, and that degree is still worth it. But the thing that's above the degree and a cert or whatever documentation is experience. You have an advantage if you're in school going for a degree because you can actually get the experience right now while you're working on your degree. It ain't gonna be easy, but it's gonna be worth its every minute that you spend on it, it's gonna be worth it. Somebody said, "AJ, what are your goals?" Yeah, AJ, what are your goals, man? What are your 2026 goals? Sudoku said, "Does Scrum Master certification have a value in helping y with BAU. I don't know what do you mean what is BAU? Okay, let me see here. Got some more questions and comments here. Thank you guys so much for participating. Um, Somebody said, security expert says the idea of AI taking over IT jobs sometimes soon is a bit of a stretch. Um, it can definitely handle the rinse and repeat task. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I don't see when they keep saying that on the news that AI is right now taking jobs, and this is the reason why the economy is bad. I just it doesn't make sense to me. It's not making sense because I've been in 3 different jobs since this AI stuff kicked off, and, I'm telling you, there's not enough trust in AI for them to give it work. There's just not enough trust. Maybe in FANG, maybe in, like, smaller sectors, maybe in, like I don't know, I'm not in those sectors, but in the government sector, like, in stuff where you're handling people's personally identifiable information or some kind of sensitive information, even sensitive but unclassified data, they don't trust AI to just run wild and just go, and handle that, like vulnerability management and stuff like that. Nah, it's not there yet, man. I mean, it's good at detection, right? Like, it's a great tool. It's a freaking awesome tool. It can do like with a person who knows what they're doing, it is super powerful. Right now, that's where it's at. But to give it like management task and them saying, "Oh, it's right now, it's eliminating jobs and stuff." Like, I'm not seeing it, man. Maybe if they mean like I wish they would be more specific. Like, do they mean like because they're reinvesting it in these data centers? Then yeah, maybe right. They're freezing the hiring process and then putting it over there. And like security expert said, for tasks that are repeatable, yeah, I can see that. For automated tasks that are repeatable, that are very easy to do, that have a low level of assurance, like, you don't really need like, if it's wrong, it's like, "Okay, let's just redo it." There's some things if you get it wrong, people can die, right? There's some things you can do that some work that we do that's it's serious, very serious, so it's just not there yet. It's gonna be there, though. I can see it getting there within the next 4 or 5 years, where it's taken some maybe. It's possible, maybe in 4 years, 5 years, something like that. But even then, the level of assurance you need is somebody's gonna have to be there, like, kinda babysitting, and I could see it being used more, um, in different sectors, but to take all jobs, I don't think we're maybe 10 years or something, I don't know. Um, I'm going to the energy sector. I'm looking at the energy sector. That's good. I've not messed around with the energy sector yet. Um, I know that there's a ton of jobs in the energy sector though. I know there's a ton of I've never like gotten a job and I've done a little bit of healthcare. I've done financial sector, a little bit of government sector, a little bit of retail, but have that's one sector I haven't like had the pleasure of getting into. I know a little bit about it because we had some clients for it, but not much. But when it comes to back to AI, but when it comes to front lines of cybersecurity, humans are still indispensable. I mean, I think some of the problems are human problems. Like you still have to have a person talking right now. And I don't know about you, but if it's something important, I don't want to talk to an AI. I have to talk to a person. If we're talking about banking and I have some issue with my bank, right? Like, okay, if you have an automated message that immediately sends me an alert or flags the thing, like, yeah, of course you can have automation for that. But if it's something that's it's still not working, I need to talk to a person and say, listen, Here's what's going on. Here's what I'm seeing. You got to hear what I'm saying. Don't just have me in an automated loop because it's not going to work for this. This is something serious, right? If it's life or death stuff, we can't I don't know about you guys, but me, I don't as a customer, I don't want to deal with AI. If it's messing around, stuff that's like it's not really a big deal if it doesn't work or whatever, then yes, right? And of course, use it as a tool. Okay, Larry said, "I know for a fact that the U.S. federal government is looking into bring in people with AI skills. Many new programs and entire AI specific cadres being stood up as we speak. The tech force. Yeah, this is a great point. The government came up with something called the tech force. Let me show you guys. I know that this is going to be new to some folks. Let me show you guys what this is. Tech force.ai. So techforce.ai, let me switch this up here. So if you go to I don't know what that is. I don't know what this is. I just went to the wrong site. Wow, we almost had a mishap there, boy. I almost did something bad, bad, bad. It's going to the wrong site. I'm trying to go to the main Tech Force site. There's some initiative while I'm looking for this. There's some initiative that the federal government just came up with called Tech Force. And it is if you go to techforce.gov, all one word, it says for those who are listening later or who are watching on TikTok, it says Tech Force for American People. And what it is the tech. I'll just read directly off here. The U.S. Tech Force is recruiting an elite core of engineers to build the next generation of government technology backed by the White House. The Tech Force will tackle the most complex, large scale civic and defense challenge of our era. From admitting critical financial infrastructure at the Treasury Department to advancing cutting edge programs at the Department of Defense and everything in between. Through through a 2-year program, participants will work. Okay, now here's where they're talking about like how you get in, what you do, what they're doing, blah 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 blah. Through a 2-year program, participants will work in teams reporting directly to agency leadership in collaboration with leading technology companies. Participants will receive technical training, engage with industry leaders, and work closely with senior managers from companies partnering with the Tech Force. The Tech Force. All right. It sounds like some sci-fi shit. Okay. Upon completing the program, engineers can seek employment with the partnering private sector and for potential full-time roles. That's pretty exciting. What if they work for OpenAI? OpenAI pays really good. Um, or Anthropic, or some of they said industry leaders. So that would include Google, maybe Meta, and I know that they're working directly with the federal government like right now. Um, so this might be some great experience for some folks. Um, if you are highly skilled in areas of software engineering, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, data, or technical project management, and want to build the future of American government technology, join Force today. Now, I'm not gonna lie. As soon as I saw this, I signed up for it. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So I went. So if you go here, you click this button, the apply button. It takes you to USA Jobs, and put your stuff in there, and they're supposed to reach out to you if if it's a good fit. So that's what's going on with the course. It basically you put your stuff out there for USA Jobs. Um, you might be the person that they're looking for. So yeah, they're leaning in very very hard for on this stuff, and I don't know where it's gonna go. Right, I'm not sure where we're going with this, given this current some of the stuff that the current folks in power do. I'm hoping for the best as usual, but I have no clue where it's going. It's like sometimes they say one thing, but the marketing doesn't match. Um, the drapes don't match the sheets. You know what I mean? Like it's not. So we'll see. I don't know. It goes to USA Jobs, so I could, you know, hope they do the right thing. But we'll see. We shall see. I got some more folks on here. Somebody said my 2026 goals. Okay, I already read that one. Best search for cyber GRC. Best search for cyber GRC would be in order CISSP, um, CISA is another really good one. CISM is another good one, especially if you're doing management. Another one would be Security Plus is up there on the Mount Rushmore of GRC certs that are really good. CGRC is okay. But those ones for GRC type stuff. I'm sure I'm forgetting some. Question. Somebody said I just finished 2 GRC courses on Udemy, but I have no clue what to do next. So the reason why I started this channel was exactly this reason. Because I feel like a lot of times the big picture is covered, but they don't tell you exactly what to do. And so that's exactly why I started doing this stuff on. If you want to know more, Allison, for free, to start, I would always encourage people to start for free. There's a few people to watch who are literally GRC professionals who talk about what they do, down to the tasks. Myself, ConvoCourses. If you go to YouTube, ConvoCourses, check me out. Another one would be Professor Black Ops. Um, Professor Black Ops works in the IRS doing GRC work. He'll go into like really deep into like less and how to secure, how to make compliance, stuff like that. And this types of stuff a security person's looking for in that. And then there's a few other great GRC folks out there that I know that um ano- um Will Reed is another one who I'll watch from time to time. These are GRC professionals who tell you not just like the big picture, but like what to do, um, what you're gonna do, and it really depends. And I think that it's challenging because I'm not faulting anybody on Udemy, but it's because GRC is such a huge umbrella, and it could be very technical or it can be just writing. It's done all of these. I've done GRC positions where all I did was write. Like, I literally never seen the system. All I did was write. They would give me a policy, and I have to read through it, and I'd have to know technical stuff like, okay, this user needs read, write, and execute on this file. What are the numbers 755 or whatever, or an IP range? Is this IP range public or private? I have to know stuff like that. So I have to know technical stuff, but I wasn't doing it. I had no hands on the keyboard. I didn't have any kind of privileged access. I didn't do any kind of IAM. I didn't do any kind of none of that stuff. I was just purely writing. That's mainly what I was. Everything else I could either Google it or ask my coworker or whatever. Like, I wasn't hands on. So I've had jobs like that. I was a pure GRC technical writer. Then I've had jobs on the other side of the spectrum where I was really hands on. Like, I was literally sitting there. I had admin permissions. I was sitting there with the system admin, and we were side by side putting in configurations for a Windows or a Linux system, line by line, going through a STIG. I've done jobs like that. So there's a range of different things that you're gonna do as a GRC person. It kinda depends on the job description, really. I've had very non-technical and very, very super technical and everything in between, and it kinda depends. I mean, I could tell you generally what you're gonna do if you're called a GRC person. is you're gonna do a lot of meetings where you're gonna be with very technical people, and that's why you need to have a technical background, like an IT back, like at least know what it is, like what's going on with it. And you're gonna do documentation. You're gonna document what security features are on the system or on in the environment or on the major application, whatever you happen to be doing. And that those are the main things you're gonna be doing. I've had other things tacked on like vulnerability management where I get a scan from the team. Another team does the scanning. They give me the report, and I have to determine what's the priority of things we're going to attack first, and if it's even a legitimate vulnerability. If it's a legitimate finding, I have to do what and how do I do that? I have to do research. I have to talk to the system team or the technical team. I have to figure out, do is that even in our environment? Maybe this system is not even in our environment. It's doing like a combination of things to figure out what's going on. So yeah, I hope that that gives you some idea of like what's going on with GRC people, and what work you do. Somebody said, is MS in cybercrime investigations good for IT undergrad? Yes, it is. I already answered that one. Is there a good online mantra through Michigan State? I don't know. Okay, I think he's talking to somebody else on that one. Oh, masters. Is there a good masters? Okay. Azure is part of the Azure is part of the tech stack at my job, trying to decide between AZ 900 fundamentals or going straight to the AZ 500 security. There's some other guys who be answer that one. There's a couple guys on here who already have that. So I'm gonna put this to the team. Hey guys, for those of you guys who have a AZ AZ certs, which one do you guys recommend doing? Jay doing? He's asking, should he go straight to the AZ 500 or AZ 900 fundamentals? Now, I have an AZ 900, and after taking it, so easy that I would highly recommend, especially if you're already in IT, going straight for the AZ 500. But I'm not. That's not my wheelhouse. Um, but I would say if you're doing this, if you're going to be doing this for the long haul, and you already know the fundamentals of AZ 900, maybe just go to AZ 500. But what do you guys think? I'm gonna ask my audience here because I know a couple people already have both of those. AZ 900 or AZ 500 for somebody who's already doing the work. What do you guys recommend? And we'll come back to it as somebody. I know somebody's gonna answer this one. And hold on a second, Larry. Man, thanks a lot for that. Appreciate that. $100. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Wow. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Larry. Once again, man. He says, appreciate your transparency, your guidance, and overall willingness to help create the community. Being in this space with like-minded pros and highlight is the highlight of my week, man. I appreciate you, man. And he says, what's on the course agenda for 2026? I'm glad you asked. This is a great segue into what I really want to talk about, which is what is the goal for 2026? So, 2026, I got some stuff that I would like to do. 2026, let me just write it down here. Let me see if I can bring this thing up. Maybe you guys can help me out. Like I'm gonna listen to you guys know I listen to my audience. When you guys tell me, hey, I want this person on, or hey, Bruce, talk about this or that, I'm 100% down with whatever you guys want to do. Cause this is not, I don't see this as my channel. See this as our channel. I see this as us doing something together. And that's why I did the ConvoCourses community because it's gonna grow. Like it's very new. It's a very new thing that we did towards the middle of the year or end of the year. So this is something I would like to grow to something a bigger thing. But what else do we want to do? Let me show you. So let me bring up my document here. and bring up a document where we can. Okay, hold on a second. TikTok's about to shut down. I want to bring up a document where I can write these things down. Let's see. Give me a second here. Let me see here. So I do have some things I would like to do that are going to be extremely helpful. Things that have come up that I feel like um, it's time to do. And if you guys have any more things to add to this list, I'm all ears. I'm glad you liked that the interview with Davita. It was great, man. She she is awesome, man. She is awesome. Those kinds of people, I love talking to go-getters like that, like people who have a positive mindset, who are just trying to, especially like, I know it's harder for women. Like I know for and those who say it's not, like you just haven't seen their struggle, man. It's much, especially in this space, it's much harder for women. Like, and to see a person like succeed and have a positive attitude and say, not only am I gonna walk across water, but I'm gonna freeze the water so others may follow, is very inspiring. So I loved having her on, and I would love to have her on again at some point. And as soon as she starts her training or whatever she's gonna do, I'm gonna promote the hell out of it. Okay, so let me see. I've got some things I want to do for 2026. 2025. Oh man, 2025 I think was all right. Like we created a community 2025. We started getting cloudy. So got a certification, did a book on the certification, on everything I learned. And then of course, but I haven't edited it yet. I actually recorded it, but I still have to edit it. So that's one of the things that's gonna bleed into 2026. Those are the main 2 things that were done for the channel in 2026, and they were in line with the goals I wanted to do. And felt really good about it. There's a lot more I wanted to do, but that's all right so far. Now for 2026, let's look at this. So 2026, we've got, what I want to do is update the RMF Foundations course. That course has been extremely, if people really like it. So I want to update it. It's time to update that and bring it into the community. And so I'm working on that in the back end. Um, let me see. I want to do another level of cloud certification. Like I want to go from fundamentals to like an associate or a pro level certification for cloud. And then I'm going to bring that stuff into our community. Anything I learn, I'm going to pass it along. Especially I get a certain level of mastery, and then I want to either do a book or a course or something that can. But if you guys have any other suggestions on what you other things is working on a resume. Let's see, where is it? Where is that thing at? Resume app. So we're still working on that. And thank you guys so much for testing it for me. Break it, do whatever you got to do, because I want to bring this thing to where I publish it out there, especially for our group. And I just recently had another thing I want to do, and it's going to be a JRC, and like basically an EMAS simulator. I'm gonna create one. I'm really excited to do this. It's basic. It's like EMAS, or not just EMAS, but like because you don't always use EMAS when you go to your job. It's gonna be like a EMAS or an Exacta or like a Archer. simulator. And the reason why I want to do this is because as a GRC person, the trend right now is to use this. They're not using, they're kind of getting away from Word. Like they've gotten away from Word and PDFs and all that stuff. Normally, you use a content manager to do your work, and then you generate a a spreadsheet or a PDF as a system security plan or whatever. So I would like to do something to where it has a real database back end, a front end that looks like risk register tool. Yeah, exactly. So it'll be like a simulator that will help people to really do this work, because most of the work, a lot of the work you're going to do, especially the documentation piece, is done on an EMAS or an Exacta or an Archer type an app. So the reason I came to me is because I'm redoing the risk management framework, and then it occurred to me like that's a real big missing piece is I really got to teach how to use those things, how they work, stuff like that. You got to get a feel for how to use those things. And I didn't couldn't find one. I'm like, damn, I can't find a way to get on there. If they had a trial version, I wouldn't really need to do it. But I can't get a trial version of EMAS. I can't do any of that. So I'm like, damn, okay, well, what can I do? Like, well, shit, maybe I'll just make one. I'll just make a simulator, and then that way it'll teach you things like how to create a new system in you have a you have a new system that's covered, like, what would you do? Like, how would you document that? And then, like, how do you do, the, uh the information type? Like, you have to choose the information type, right? That comes from the NIST 860. And then after that, you have to do an impact, you gotta determine what's the impact level of the system. So you gotta determine what is the security categorization of the system. It's with FIPS 199. So it'll integrate NIST 860, FIPS 199, and then once you have that, you need the baseline controls. So it's gonna walk you through, okay, well, what now that you've chosen that it's a low impact, here's your controls. And then that's the kind of like you can go in there, make a system, and then get inherited controls based off of that, figure out which ones have common those are the things that you do as an ISO. And um that's what I want to do for next year, like a legitimate one. And if you're already signed up to the group, like you'll see it first, like as I'm doing it. I'm not there yet. I'm kind of just doing the concepts right now, but I'm excited. Like it's gonna be way more work than I thought, but it'll be something you can legitimately sign up for and use. And that's what I want to do 2026. Any other things? Let me see. Somebody said, by the way, awesome interview with Davita, man. Yeah, it was great, man. It was great talking to her. That cloud security course would be awesome. Yeah, that's coming soon. Like I already have the first part of it. Essentially what I did is it's a project that helped me to learn. And so I did a blog, a WordPress on AWS. Which if you use Lightsail, you can click one button and do it. But I'm doing it manually so you can understand how the front end EC2 connects to the back end, the database, which is an RDS system, how it all works and how to secure it and all of that. It walks you through every step of that, step by step by step by step. How to troubleshoot if you get caught up, all that kind of stuff. Hey Jamal, how's it going, man? With everything going on, January seems like a breakout month for us. Yeah, no kidding, man. It's got to get better because it can't get much worse than this. um, let me see here. Full mapping controls to the risk management framework. Exactly. Exactly. So you'll be able to like use that simulator and walk you through it. FedRAMP. Oh shit. Yeah. Let me put that on the list. What am I gonna do with FedRAMP? What about FedRAMP? If you're still here, tell me what do you want from FedRAMP. That's a great idea, by the way. It's something that's been, like, knocking around in my brain a little bit, but just to make sure I don't forget. I was thinking like, a book on FedRAMP, like a short pamphlet on, like, what you see as an ISO doing FedRAMP. A book on it, and then maybe a book or a course or some kind of something, app, something, I don't know. Something that, like, makes it so that you guys can see because the issue with the federal government is a lot of times it's like in a black box. You can't you can't see what's going on until you get in, and then they show you, "Oh, okay, here's our tools, here's what." But if you're an ISO trying to get into it, you learn this stuff. Like, you wanna learn it, like, how do you learn how to use the stuff? So, COBIT, okay, let me put that on the list. Templates. Oh, okay. There's already a ton of templates for this, but there's something I could do with this for sure because they are a bit dated. The templates that are out there for FedRAMP are a bit dated. COBIT, okay. Anything else? Anything else you guys want to see? All right, let me go back to TikTok while you guys are thinking about it. How did you get into GRC? I got into GRC from I was in the military. I did 8 years in the military. First 5 years was a grunt. I was a security police officer, security forces in Air Force, protecting planes and stuff. It was it was it was the hardest job I've ever done to this day. Hardest job I've ever done. So shout out to all those guys, man. That shit's hard. And so I did that for like 4 years, and then I cross trained, moved my job to being a computers, and did computers, and then they put me into what we called certification and accreditation, which at the time was mostly documentation type stuff. I didn't like it, but I learned it. I learned how to do it, and it turns out I was really good at it. And while I was doing that, and I did help desk, and I did network engineering. I did a whole bunch of stuff in the military. One thing great about the military, you get a lot of incredible hands-on experience, incredible life-changing hands-on experience that they're giving to teenagers. But I was like a teenager, and I was learning all this stuff. Well, by that time, I was in my 20s. Anyway, so then I got out of the military and found out there was huge desire for that stuff. Like, there's so many jobs that at the time nobody was talking about it. So that's how I got into it. Got into it through the military um when it was still called certification and accreditation. And I just kind of stuck to it, and it's evolved. And now I understand like how important it is, and that different industries have their own variation and flavors of GRC. They only recently started really calling it GRC. Certification and accreditation was around that word, those words were around, but now it's GRC, and it kind of has more solid under a solid scope that people all can look at and say, okay, that's compliance. Okay, let me see another question or comments. Somebody said, I don't think the question is, can AI replace security professionals? The will is question is, will idiot corporate officers replace us with AI and cause a mess? um, Great point. Because it's just not there yet. And the level of assurance that it work with important data and protect. I think 2026. This should be on my bingo card. 2026 is going to be a year when some organization fully puts in place, large organization. I'm not talking about a small company or a solopreneur who put out AI. Like, you can totally do that, right? With stuff that's not really, it's not critical information, it's not protected information, it's not social security numbers or whatever. But I think that an large organization who does handle important information is going to use AI, and they're going to get hacked. There's gonna be a gigantic hack on the way. For some, I hope it doesn't happen, but I think there's gonna be some organizations gonna put it out there, and they're gonna do somebody they're gonna get poisoned or something. They're gonna poison the LLM, something crazy, and it's gonna be a gigantic leak because not necessarily because AI, more because they implement it improperly. It's more of the stuff like happened with the McHire site with McDonald's and more of there's been a few other hacks with it, but I think 2026, that's gonna happen big time. Alright, let me see here. Realistic secure tech role. Realistic security tech role. Building a SOC lab, my background, security plus, sales, 6 coding languages. Man, my man is no joke. What's the best transition from special education compliance focus to GRC? Um, the best way is to stay within the school district, because the education system uses something called FERPA, and I always forget the name of like what family education. I'm googling it right now. I don't remember. Family Education Rights and Privacy Act. So that's FERPA. So the mess if you're in the education sector, whether you're a professor or a teacher for K through 12 or special education or administrator or whatever, you guys are all subject to something called FERPA. So FERPA, the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, is GRC. So that's protecting the teachers, protecting your information, privacy, all that kind of stuff. If you got really smart on that and combine that with your IT skills, get IT skills if you don't have them, and then combine that, that might be a good entryway into GRC. That's what I would do. Knowing what I know now, I know that most sectors have some type of GRC, some kind of compliance that they have to meet to protect privacy, to protect and secure information. So that's what I would do. I would stay in that sector and then I would try to make a lateral move into that. That's what I would do. So your start is going to be do IT. If you don't already know IT, like get a solid understanding and background under your belt of IT and try to stay in that sector because that's going to be the best way for you to leverage skills that you already know. Like you already have skills and you can transition into it if you do it right. Okay. Somebody said, could you please help me find a job in IT level 2? I can move anywhere. I'm also having some issues. Like, to be honest here, I don't know if you guys have been following my channel, but I've recently lost my job and now I'm looking for one right now. I can tell you what I'm doing. I'm gonna get a job pretty soon because I've been doing this for years and it's been working. Now granted, this is the worst I've ever seen it. This market is the worst I've ever seen. But what I'm doing is number one, I started off by fine tuning my resume, putting up all the stuff that I know, and including even business stuff that I do on the side, which I didn't do before. After seeing Davita's profile, changed my mind. I'm like, okay, yeah, I should definitely do that. So I did it. So now I've updated and fine tuned my resume, and then what I did was I went to all of the top um, job sites, right? That's in addition to that, reaching out to everybody I know, my network, and saying, "Listen, you guys have anything open? I'm your man. Let me know." You know, so don't be shy. Like if anybody you know who's in there already who out, let them know. Like here's where I'm at. Here's what I can do, and it's been working. I'm getting people contacting me back. So we'll see how it goes. But that's what I'm doing right now, and that's what I encourage you to do too. Fine tune your resume, get yourself out there. If you don't have a job, you've never had a job in this industry, I understand it's very, very difficult when you first start. So, and shout out to all you entry level Gen Z people. It is hard. Like I'm not taking nothing from your struggle. It's hard out here if you want to do IT. Start from the beginning. Like look for local jobs. Some of the biggest local employers of IT professionals are places like Comcast, guys who go to your house and set up the internet. The cable guys, that right there is a great entry level for IT. Right? I know it's not glamorous or whatever, but that right there is a great entry level into like network engineering in particular. So that's what I would do if I was starting off. Let me see here. More questions. Okay, let me see. Let me switch it back here. Got some other great suggestions. Somebody said SCADA. Um, I think that SCADA is something I would leave that to somebody who knows it. I don't I would love to have somebody come in and do that. Like, I would totally if you know SCADA, man, like, hit me up. Maybe we can do a collaboration, or if you already have a course or something, I will totally put it on my site or book or something. Let me just put that on there. So what we can do with this one is have a third party come in, 3PO come in and do this. SCADA is not something I would feel comfortable doing, but I'm not saying no. I'm saying if we can get somebody who knows it, that would be incredible. Have you ever used CAM? What does that stand for? It maybe. Did you get yourself a new job yet since you said you got laid off? No, I'm still looking. Still looking, sir. I've gotten a few couple interviews so far, some s- some screening some screening calls and stuff like that, but I'm still looking. These days, me and my wife are doing DoorDash, making that big money, that DoorDash money, you know what I'm saying? Um, Tenable Essentials, let me see. Tenable Essential Scanner. That's not a bad idea. Let me put that one down. Tenable, Tenable, because that one, Tenable Scanner is actually free. They have like a trial version of that, so I might be able to do that one. And I use that tool quite a bit. Okay, let me see, what else do we have here? What else do we have here? Any other suggestions, guys? Also found out that Professor Black Ops also found Professor Black Ops that other AI incident security may not be covered in security cyber insurance, which companies should. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's a great point. Yeah, I saw that video. That he's talking about they have something called cyber insurance. Like if you get hacked or something, you have a denial of service attack, then another company will come in and then they will recoup you for anything you lost, but it doesn't really cover AI yet. And the reason why is because it's so risky. I think it's because it's just too risky. Splunk and Snike. Splunk I could do. Splunk is not a bad idea. Let me put this right here with Splunk. Yeah, that's actually a great idea. Splunk is something I actually have one in the works. I just have to edit it. It's one of those thoughts on help desk. I think the help desk is incredible. It's help desk was my first start, like my first legitimate look into IT, and where I am now. I owe a lot to the help desk. because it helps you to understand the layout of the organization, the needs of the organization, ticketing, problem solving, root cause analysis, um, things that we kind of take for granted in in our career. Like later on, you just don't think you just do it. But when you're in this for the first time, it 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 opens up your mind. Like you are synced in to what IT is all about. So that right there was one of the best lessons I got in the customer service with IT, um, a lot of different things. And security expert says, if you secure a help desk position, grab it. It's much easier to move laterally or advance to more interesting roles from there. And that's another thing. Another thing about help desk is that from the help desk, once you get what's going on, if you're a go getter, you're super sharp, you pick up things really fast. Um, you'll find that there's a way you can move laterally, meaning that means like go from help desk to the left or the right, like SOC analyst, right? And learn that stuff. Or you can move up like management. You can go from here to being a supervisor. You can move this way or you can move that way. And then like sometimes they'll expose you to certain tools on the help desk for troubleshooting that will open up even more doors for you. So there's a lot to be said about help desk is incredible. It's one of the best starts. The only other comparison, other thing I could say would be SOC analyst. SOC analyst is also one of the best entry level positions you can get. If you can get one of those help desk or SOC analyst, it's a great start. They don't like pay a lot in the beginning, but the experience you're getting is better than a degree. Every tool, there's some tools that if you know that tool is worth $100,000. I'm not exaggerating. So that's the kind of like help desk is really good. So I think very highly of the help desk. It's a great start. It's one of the best starts you can get. How do you feel about Snowflake? I've never messed with that. I know it has something to do with cloud, right? I have not messed with that one at all. Would you like to learn? Would like to know more about Splunk and War and Nessus. Okay, we'll put Nessus on there. That's part of Tenable, so we'll leave those two on there. Snike. Hmm. Sneak? How do you pronounce it? Open source security and DevOps pipeline. I don't know, man. I have to look into that one. I do see it pop up on a bunch of resumes. I mean, job descriptions. So that's be one of those ones that I would let me look into it. These for sure. Um, I actually started these, but I never got to the I started the editing process, but got sidetracked. Um, SCADA, third party. This one I don't know about. But yeah, any other things that you guys can come up with, I'm open to it for 2026. Templates, books, courses, free stuff, paid stuff. Hell, we might even be able to bring other people on to put their stuff out. You know, I'm completely open to that, by the way. Somebody said application security team makes more. Just vanilla blue team and dev and red team blue team makes more. Blue team makes more and has more jobs. Blue team definitely has more jobs for sure. Okay, Jay says application security team makes more. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Can't argue with that. Let me see here. More questions or comments. Thanks for the donations, guys, here on TikTok. I appreciate it. What's CAS? I'm not sure. What's a good way to transition from healthcare to GRC? I get this question a lot. I get the healthcare one, the teaching one. A lot of teachers and healthcare professionals are trying to transition. So healthcare is a special case because healthcare has definitely has its own brand of GRC, and often they're trying to look. They want somebody who's already worked in healthcare. So if you're currently in healthcare, you have an advantage over somebody like myself who hasn't don't have that much experience in healthcare. Just the terminology, working with medical devices, your exposure to HIPAA. GRC in healthcare is its own thing. And what I would do is I would to transition is number one, learn IT fundamentals. That's always going to come first. Once you get a good grasp on it, um, validate that level of knowledge with something like a Security Plus, or you could probably just you could do like to validate your skill set and determine like if you have the level of knowledge that it takes to go further. Another thing you can do is like a Google support IT. The reason I say that is not really about the certification. Like in that case, it's a low level certification is not really necessarily going to get you a job or something like that. But you all you're doing is validating your skills, your IT knowledge. Because there's a common body of knowledge. Once you know it, it'll make GRC and cybersecurity way easier. In fact, you can't really do cybersecurity effectively unless you have an understanding of fundamentals. So another one would be CompTIA A plus. It would be a good validation of skill set, of knowledge base. If you already know IT, if you've already been doing this, or if you're just a geek and you take computers apart, put them together, stuff like that, or you program whatever, you don't need to do you don't need to do A plus. You don't need to do Google's IT certificate. That's going to be simple, too simple for you. But if you don't, if you're starting from scratch, they won't be easy for you. Uh, anyway, so once you get to a certain level of knowledge with your IT fundamentals, um, you can you'll understand more about what HIPAA is trying to protect. And then you can move to something called there's a couple that the healthcare industry uses quite a bit. Um, One is called High Trust or Hit Trust. I think it's High Trust. High Trust, they use that quite a bit. And there's another one called there's a CSF. There's a version of CSF that they use. And it's just common security controls on how to protect patient information. And they just use that a lot. Some other GRC besides HIPAA to learn would be NIST CSF and surprisingly NIST 853 because that's another one that they use. And I'm about to wrap it up, guys. I got a few more questions. I'll take a couple more questions. Let me get to the bottom of this list. Oh my lord, man. Thank you guys for all the This is a lot of comments on here. It's crazy. Oh my goodness. There's no way I'm gonna get through all of these. All right. But I'm gonna take a couple more. Let me see. Looking for a good one here. Somebody said, is going to WGU and doing the cybersecurity track with a degree in certs worth it? Yeah, I would say yes. And I'm sure I have an argument with some folks who are totally against the degree programs. I understand, I'm not trying to delegitimize their concerns. I do know people who never did a degree and are making more money than myself and are currently employed, by the way. But the reason why I say a degree is good and WGU in particular is few people I know went there and they have nothing but good things to say about it. They have like a mentorship program which I think is dope. They have like some hands-on stuff that I think is incredible. I've thought about going myself a couple times to get my to finish up like a master's degree. Um I think it's worth If you have the time and money, some people don't have the time and money to do a degree, and I totally understand. Like, do work with what you have. But if you have the time and money to do one, and you wanna be an engineer, like, you're gonna make yourself way more competitive. And those jobs tend to pay more. It's still worth your time. As a cybersecurity person, as a IT professional, it's still worth your time. There'll be a time when somebody comes up with some certs that invalidate or something, I don't know, some kind of, and I want that day to happen, like a day when somebody like they've talked about this, like an Amazon or Google or Nvidia or some organization says, "Look, you don't need a degree. Come in here. We'll teach you. We'll give you hands-on experience. Right by the time you're done, you'll know how to install an Nvidia server on any rack, and you'll be worth X amount." Right? I want that day to come, but right now it's just all talk. I hear them talking about it, but I don't see a lot of action. Like, I think right now Walmart has some program where they're have some kind of hiring freeze, but inside they're starting to level up their people who already work in there and training them on the machines inside of Walmart, which I think is incredible. But right now, degree is still one of the best ways to get a high paying job. I mean, that's just what's going on. It sucks that there's some kind of scam that makes it so high, like it's so expensive and it's just getting more and more expensive. I think that's bullshit, but it's worth your time to get a degree. It's still worth your time, especially from an accredited college. The cybersecurity degree or an IT, even just a IT degree or an information systems degree, as long as the college is accredited, I would say it's still worth it. It's still worth it. I'm not telling you to go out and rack up a whole bunch of debt. If you can't afford it, don't do it. Use as many grants as you can. Find a way to get it cheaper. But is it worth it? Yeah, it's definitely it. All you got to do, if you don't believe me, go to LinkedIn and uh, look for high paying jobs, and you'll all of them will or most, I would say, most of them are looking for a degree. Most. Can you get one without my mentors? Both my mentors make more money than me, don't have a degree. So why am I telling you to get a degree? Because they're freaking not normal people. They're not. They're outliers. That doesn't normally happen. Like, in my seeing hundreds of people in this career field does not normally happen. They're not normal people. They're not freaking human. They're barely human beings. I know because I've worked directly with them. And when you hear them talk, when you work with them, you see what magic they can do. You can see that they're not normal. So for the rest of us, no, I would say get a damn degree if you can. Right? Like, the best thing you can do is get experience, but a degree is going to help you be more when you get out there. Okay, guys, I think that's it. Um, Shout out to big shout out to Larry. Thank you, Larry, for the $100, man. Happy holidays. I appreciate you. Everybody else, thank you for your input. I really appreciate it. It's been a great year. I'm gonna do more videos before the end of the year. Um, I take requests, so if you guys have things you want me to record or you have questions, I'm pretty candid about it, whatever I talk about. So this is real. I just want you to know I'm a real person. Like, I'm not just you know, blowing smoke. That's the reason why I'm doing all those other videos where I'm talking about, like, yeah, I'm laid off, and here's what I'm doing to survive. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. If you want to continue this conversation, you can come to convocourses.com, login.convocourses.com, and we talk throughout the week about random stuff. You can post there